All right, so we're getting into the last couple cards. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk first about the legends, the light dark legends, and then we're gonna talk about the cycles. So Warrior Light, 7 CP. Job Warrior Light as well, 9k. When Warrior Light enters the field due to your cast, reveal. So, due to your cast, very important. Reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Play up to 2 characters of cost 3 among them onto the field and return the other cards to the bottom. He also has an S ability to make all of him and all the 3 cost forwards not able to be chosen by summons or abilities. Yeah, I've played against this a bunch. I mean, it's a very solid engine card. It turns out there's a lot of really good 3CP backups, as we've just seen, throughout this entire set review. So, this is ramping you. This is playing your aggressive forwards. I played twice this week against Gilgamesh. You should build this deck, Pat. It's like 7 CP wall, and then you play a bunch of like you play like every good 3 CP multicolor element forward.
Mhm.
And then you just play Gilgamesh and win.
The FFBE
Yep.
Ice Gilgamesh?
Yeah.
Okay.
You should build that deck.
I already have my Mono Ice Gilgamesh deck.
The only deck I own that I never unsleeve is a water gold best deck, right? The one that
Yeah.
you look up card, if it's 3 or less, put it onto the field. And I just stuck 3 of these guys in there. God, I love this card so much. If you're playing it on a less mini deck, you do have a very, very high restriction in deck building, because in order to guarantee hitting 2, 90% of the time, the number is 29, I believe. You need 29, cost 3 to hit 90% of the time. And we're not happy with 90% because that's bad. So ideally, you want to be running like 33 to 35. 3 slots, which is a lot. Now, thankfully, we got a whole cycle of 3 CP backups that go hard. So they're pseudo 2 CP backups. That just happen to work very well with Warrior of Light. I personally love this card, but it's because I'm a gambler at heart, in the sense of I like revealing and seeing what I get and then playing around that. I don't know how good it's going to be. Someone might break it and just make me surprised that this card is broken or something, but it's just good.
Yeah. When I first saw it, oh, you go ahead, Pat.
Yeah, the clear synergy here is Axstar, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think everybody were like, all right, we're playing Axstar, boys.
Yeah.
I
am curious about how it is in your Golbez deck, because doesn't it make Golbez worse? You're taking out three CPs for 3 of these.
Yeah, but the fact that you don't have to rely just on Golbez to build your board makes up for it, in my opinion.
Oh, true.
Because I had to rely on seeing Golbez turn 1, which meant I had to run like 6 backups that search, and that either way would miss, right? So I just took out 3 of those backups and put 3 of these.
Oh, you know what Larsa does, by the way, going back to that card? It searches Golbez.
Oh, yeah. Wait, hold on. Give me 1 second.
He's cooking.
It searches Golbez and it searches Warrior Light.
Right now, brother. Listen to me. I am right now editing.
Yep.
Right? Keep talking, because I'm not listening.
Yeah, no, I mean, the first thing I thought of when I saw this card was Golbez, and I was like, oh, that's cute, And then I've just seen all of the deck lists that people have been posting with this card, and I'm like, I've begun to appreciate just sort of like what this kind of enables, it might be a little bit before somebody like truly breaks this card. But honestly, with the rate of like all the really good 3CP backups that we've been getting, like I think that eventually this card will honestly probably still be pretty good.
I agree.
Like, once we have more like bomb hits other than Axstar, I feel like, you know, uh, imagine playing like Axstar plus another bomb, you know?
Right, right. And then start play something else from your hand or something. So
Yeah, like
yeah.
the big thing is that like right now you're running a lot of like okay 3 CP forwards, right? Like or like 3 CP forwards that like don't, you know, play a card and then also dole freeze and then have continuous value, you know? You're playing things like I don't know, Billy Bob, who's a really good card, but like
Is he? No, I'm not kidding.
yeah. I mean, you know, like you know what I mean though. He doesn't like obviously he's not like or sorry, he's not Axstar, right? Like once we start getting more 3 CP cards like Axstar, I think this card's gonna be cracked.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. All right. I guess anything else to add before we move on?
Do we talk about the S or anything? Or
Oh yeah. I guess kind of going back to what I was talking about when we talked about Galuf. I like how they're putting the S abilities, especially because this is a light card and you want to run 3 of them in the decks you're playing this. I like that it's like a thing to do with, you know, the extra walls.
yeah.
It definitely is relevant. It came up in one of my games too, twice I think, this week. So, you know, preventing like my Refia and stuff from, or I think it prevented like Ferris from targeting, things like that. So, yeah, I mean overall like really sick card. So,
Yeah, I like it.
yeah. All right. Talking about another sick card. Oh, actually, I thought this was going to be Jack Garland, but this is also a sick card. Both the dark cards this set are pretty sick. So this is Darkness Manifest, 7 CP 9K. If you remove a fire, wind, earth, and water character, so not summon, unfortunately, then you can pay 2 CP. Remove them from your break zone from the game, and you can pay 2 CP to play Darkness Manifest instead of the full 7 CP. At the beginning of your main phase 1, during each of your turns, Darkness Manifest deals your opponent 1 point of damage, and when it leaves the field, choose a character, break it. So obviously, if this card costs 2 CP, it is like bonkers good, right?
Yeah.
How like it's one of those cards that I think is going to show up. You know, the deck building restriction is like not high enough to make this like a total like meme card. Like I think that like I've played against this where my opponent has, you know, done this effect like very quickly, right? Like gotten this off on like, you know, turn. It was either like 3 or 4 or something like that, right? Wall decks are just like very natural. Like the fact that wall just does whatever the one color that you're missing, you know, like I think this is going to be live a lot more than it sounds like it's going to be live.
I think so too. If you're not running any other light or dark cards, and you're on a very high color deck, like in the wall decks, right? It's for whoever played the game, play it. It's really good. It's relevant that it's like wall themed. Just having this like sticky, annoying little guy for 2 is obnoxious for sure. It's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation where you know, if you remove him, if you don't remove him, he's gonna kill you. If you remove him, he's gonna take one of your backups with him. So I like him. I think restrictions is just good enough to make me consider playing him.
What do you think, Ben?
I like it a lot for my Une Flicker deck. Because that the trigger is when it leaves the field, not when it dies or anything, and it's perfect.
Oh
yeah. I originally had in my light dark slot. I had the 019 Titus, the one that the light Titus with the EX, ETB, you tuck something that's 5 or less.
Oh yeah.
But this is just better, I think.
Yeah. Although this is 7 CP, right? Like in that deck,
yeah, but I always have like a billion cards in my hand in that deck.
Okay. So
I'm not really worried. I think about casting it for 7, and then being able to do 1 damage every turn is really nice. Also,
yeah.
I'm happy if they kill this. You know, I'm happy if they leave it alive. Like it does everything. The one thing it doesn't do in the Une deck is cast it for its alternate cost. I don't have any fire in that deck or earth. But I think I would happily pay 7 for this.
I don't know. I feel like if I pay 7 for this and then it dies and I break a backup, like I don't know, Hecatoncheir costs 3, you know? I guess it did force a removal though, right? So
yeah, it forced the removal out of their hands. So it's like a 2 for 1 there, or like a 3, depending how they cast it. And then for my deck, you know, I can just flicker it.
Yeah.
It's basically 2 triggers in my deck, at least. Because I probably wouldn't cast it unless I can flicker it immediately.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah. It slots right into the Une deck. So happy to see it.
And I think, is the job Chaos relevant? Or because I know there's a couple cards, I think, right, that care about Chaos.
Yes, I think it was like I gotta search it now. The Opus 14 forwards. You can discard a job Chaos to do an additional effect on ETB, but only on ETB. The Opus 11 ones can search for job Chaos.
Yeah, so somebody will probably make a deck with that.
They had to die though. It's not even on ETB.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's like when they're put from the field into the break zone, you can search for a job Chaos.
Yeah, but you can like, so the Opus 14 ones though, you can discard this Chaos, right? And do stuff. Yeah. So it's like a dark card. I think one thing that also we didn't mention is 7 CP dark card, art cost 2. I have seen people make rainbow Darkness Manifest arc lists. They don't seem that bad as weird as that sounds. For like a rainbow deck to be playing 6 dark cards.
Then I have to pay 2 for arc instead of
instead of it being free. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I guess anything else.
No, I like it, and he looks like really cool in the art, so I'm all for it.
All right. So the last thing we're going to talk about is the cycles. The first one is the Serpent Generals. So we mentioned the Sky Serpent General Rugagine, I think, right? I don't know. I didn't play 11, so I don't know what any of these guys are. I think the text.
I didn't play it either.
I think the text on the light one is hilarious.
Yeah, I love this card. Oh
god. It just like it reads like a meme card, right? Because it's like his name is so long and it's doing 3 things that are all like kind of the same thing, right?
Yep.
And then like I played it I immediately thought this was a meme card, and then somebody played Griever and then played this, and I was like, wait.
Yep. And then you realize, wait, I think this is better than Wall. Hold on.
No.
Well, I think it is. No, 100%. I think it is.
What?
This card is the fact that it's 9K is kind of big for a 4 CP, and granting haste and brave.
Yeah,
it's so dumb, right? Because and let's not even think about the power, because he also gives you 3,000 power. Aggressive decks like the Griever deck, like the Weenie deck I was mentioning, the Earth Ice deck, love this card.
Yeah.
I was very surprised. I remember reading this card, like, haha, it's a screenshot like card. That's funny. And then I read it, and I'm like, wait, this guy just like can't stay on the field. No, he can't. He can't stay on the field. You lose.
Mhm.
You lose. You're gonna lose. If he stays on the field, and you paid 4 for a 9K. How the heck am I revoking this?
Mhm.
So, because like going back to your example, like you like Wall, like this guy just tramples over Wall. Right? He just goes like, yeah, I'm a 13K or a 12K.
Mhm.
Right? Because he can choose himself for
Yeah.
some forsaken reason. This man doesn't say another forward. So you playing him as a 12K swinger for haste, brave, first strike, haste, double right. He goes fast. I don't know. I'm very surprised about this card. I'm happy, like pleasantly surprised about this card. So yeah.
So I'm super excited for the light one in my Emperor FFL deck.
Hell yeah.
One of the biggest problems of that deck. So the idea of the deck for our listeners is you play Emperor FFL, you give it haste somehow, and then use its S like immediately, and then just go to town from there. The biggest problem of that deck is granting haste. There's the Red Mage backup that gives haste. There's Ramus that give haste, and there's a Rain that can give haste on attack step. So always happy to see another one, another haste granter, because I'll use all the ones I can get.
Yeah, and it's like individually good, right? Like if you just this card, you get a 12K attack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like even by itself, it's like I'm happy just playing it, and then the fact that it can give haste to Emperor is like so good.
Yeah, I mean every color now has access to a haste giver.
That's the big one. Like, not saying that I haven't given Last Will haste with this, but I've given Last Will haste with this.
Oh my god!
Well, don't free something and then discard because, yeah, why not?
I just hate that it's a screenshot.
I find them very endearing. All right.
I wonder if they connect. Do they connect?
I don't know.
Is it like a?
Let me like connect the
Pentic.
Oh, you're doing it.
Wait,
it's sort of. So the green one goes into the light one, and then.
It does.
We're possibly.
Oh yeah,
we're. Then what? Then.
No.
Maybe I have to build it for the lore. This comboing the. No, yeah, I don't think the other ones match.
Right, green and white are. And maybe red is like close to them. I feel like he's like in the vicinity, but not close.
It looks like blue is standing in the same area as the green one.
I think they're all in the same room. It's just
not the same room, but like in the same spot.
Yeah, but like blue and green is like the exact same spot in front of this like cylinder, white cylinder thing.
we have ruined the slide.
We made it better. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so I think that the main comparison that everyone has been making is with Wall for the light one. I don't know. I think that it's the thing that I think makes this like just a different card that I can't like compare it to Wall at all. Is that this is giving your other creatures haste. So as opposed to like just Wall being generically, a beat stick. But the other big thing is that so this is better on board, right? But the big difference is that obviously Wall color fixes early game, and then late game you play him for free, right? And he draws you a card. And this is like the opposite of free, right? It's a 4 CP light card, right? If it's in your hand, you can't pitch it for other cards.
No, they pick two different roles, like entirely. This is a card that gives haste and brave to cards that are notoriously bad because dull effects need you to wait a turn, and brave and haste are very good keywords to have with cards that have dull effects.
Yeah.
So you're abusing Vivi, you're abusing Griever, you're abusing all those cards with this guy.
Yeah. Dude, I'm ready to play this in Black Mages. Like
100%, dude. Like you play Vivi, get a Black Mage back, and so Vivi's like 2 CP, and then you go, haha, kill something.
And honestly, like you were saying with the ice aggro, like even just like every single line of text is good. Like first strike on all of your you know, giving like a well, I guess Laswell's what?
5K.
Oh, he's 5. Oh, never mind. Okay, that's pretty
That's
bad.
fine, but the fact is Laswell from dull freezes and attacks.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I was more so thinking the first strike is also like pretty relevant too.
he'll become an 8K first strike,
Yeah.
which isn't particularly irrelevant. You can give haste to. We talked about the ice snow, the one that if you have 2 characters, you discard on attack. So this gives it anything that says on attack trigger. Yeah, just give it a little dose of the big sword, and they'll be happy. Of the other ones, the only one I would say that I would consider playing is the water one. Because he gets you a card on death, so he is effectively CP like free-ish. He costs 2, draws a card on exit, and also the ability, while it is a tap ability, it's pretty cool. Like activate 2 things and give them 1,000 power. It's kind of nice. It's the only one that I'd consider.
It's a double Rosa.
It's just Rosa twice, lol.
I'll be honest, I kind of just skimmed most of the other one.
You were right to do so. Just take a look at the water one, be like, and then ignore it for the rest of your life. It's cool that he kind of like works with all of them. I think that's what they were going for. Like he makes them right. You see that most of them have like 2 of them have tap abilities and stuff like that. So it's like, oh yeah, he works very well with them. It's whatever.
Yeah.
I wish they would have made like one artwork that we were talking about, so that you were incentivized to just meme.
Yeah, to play them all out.
I mean, maybe we just didn't organize them right. I don't know.
I think we're smart enough to figure it out. Actually, the way they are right now, I think it's the way it's intended to be. But there's like some gaps in between. But yeah, we're smart enough to figure that out. I feel that.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm smart enough to figure that out.
So one parallel, the first thing I thought of when I saw these was another recent FF11 screenshot cycle that had one boss monster, the Shijin.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Wow.
So there are these bad cards that are all 4 mana. Suzaku, Seiryu, Byakko, and Gumbu.
And
those are names you would know if you played 14 also.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I know. I know.
They use the same names, but they basically play off each other because if you control, if you have any of them in your break zone, then they cost rainbow. Like you can pay any mana for them. And they all have like an EX burst. That's like a search for another one. But most notably is their boss monster guy is Kirin. 6 mana. ETB, look at the top 5 and you get a free 4 cost. These are all also 4 costs, so and they're all also 11 and all also screenshots. So that was, I mean, like, you can definitely make a screenshot deck now, like only screenshots. Oh, but Kieran's not a screenshot. Ugh.
Listen, just play title and play all of them. That's fine.
Yeah, that's probably where these are going. The ones that I open are going in my FF11 title deck.
Looking for foils.
We have 2 more cycles to get through. So here's the crystal backups. They all say 3 CP multiplayable standard unit. When they ETB, gain a crystal. When they enter the field, if you control 3 or less backups, draw a card. The important names, I guess, are the monk and the samurai, and red mage if you're on that copium. I guess also dragoon, but no, don't play dragoon.
Green dragoon.
No. I think these all are terrible. I don't know why everyone loves these so much, but I am ready to be convinced. I mean, I also think the other like category 5 ones are also really bad. So, like, I think the restriction on 3 or less backups feels really restrictive.
I think it depends on what you value a crystal as, right? I think the intent of the game, based on the effects that are crystal based, is that a crystal is equal to 2 CP. I don't think that actually ends up being the case just because of how the game works. But I think when they designed crystals, they intended a crystal to be equivalent to 2 CP, based on the fact that, for example, Bahamut's cost is reduced by 2 if you use a crystal. You know, the summons, the older costs are reduced by 2 if you use a crystal. There's effects that are on par with a 2 CP effect that are only gained when you spend the crystal. If you're looking at it that way, these are extremely high value, right? You draw a card and gain a crystal. So you're saying, all right, so basically they're free. Right? I think these are very good for monocolor decks that are trying to use crystals. Specifically, the Samurai is very good because it's searchable by Cyan. So Cyan now searches 2 backups that give you crystals. The unfortunate part is that if you're on mono fire crystals, you want to play the new Cyan, not the old one. I think they intended these to just work with wall as well. Like that's like the theme here. I'm happy to have them, but if I'm in 2 colors or more and using crystals, I don't think there's much reason to not just use the category 5 ones, right? If there's like some, I don't know, there's no category 14 synergy with these, so that doesn't matter. I think they're okay. If you're playing crystals, you consider these. Mono water crystals certainly would like to look at Paladin and say, hey, that's an extra way for me to kill you with Glass Gala. They're not great, but I don't think they're bad.
What about you, Pat?
I mean, the only crystal deck I play is like the green-blue one. And I feel like I'm happier playing the 2-mana ones just because I can sack them and play another backup after.
Yeah, that's my big thing.
It feels bad that these are just locked in. And that deck plays a lot of backups also. So like I probably wouldn't want to play these. Like usually the first backup in that deck is the Sid 2, right? Then that's searching out the Spiritus, then like a bunch of other stuff, and then like I feel like there isn't really room.
Yeah.
And I prefer the 2-mana ones because sometimes their combat tricks or their tab abilities are pretty relevant. Sometimes they always catch you off guard, Chris.
They do catch me off guard because they suck.
Yeah, and you're like,
so I just don't like. I just assume that they don't have text. Their text is they sack, and that's it. And sometimes they can't sack because your opponent doesn't have a forward or some shit. Like,
I think that Dragoon is kind of cute because even before this Dragoon existed, I was playing Dragoons as wind with lightning with a little bit of wind, just because then you would get a crystal and you could play the 2 CP Cane that needs a crystal, and this kind of like it's another one that does it.
Yeah.
So now you can like reliably play that Cane and Dragoons if you want to go that route. The only complaint I have, I wish that Red Mage was a ninja instead. I'd be so excited if that was a ninja because I could play it for 2 off edge.
Yeah, and we didn't talk about that one ninja forward in water.
Oh yeah, the card. Okay. And Commoner, it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, if this Red Mage was a ninja instead, I would be all over that card.
Yeah. I think so my 2 big problems with these cards is they don't sack themselves, right? And the first backups that you're playing in most decks are the search backups that search your other backups, right? So like these are usually going to be either your third backup or like, I mean, okay, sometimes you just open them, right? And then you play them. But like a lot of the times, like I want to play, you know, Delusory Warlock into whatever that other mannequin is, right? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, because I would worry about playing this as my first backup. It does like let me pitch a card to just draw like another card to try to hit like one of my other backups, but I mean, in like you said, I think in monocolored decks that's totally fine, but in multicolored decks, like I would just be worried that, you know, the card that I'm pitching is not one that I want to be pitching always.
Yeah,
Right?
I think it depends on how crystal hungry your deck is,
Mhm.
right? If you're very lean on crystals, you can get away with just running like the old 2 CPU ones.
Yep.
If you're very, very crystal hungry, but I don't think outside of ice, and I think we didn't talk about that card, the SOPFFO card, like the Stranger of Paradise card that board wipes you.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of that, that's like really hungry, and ice really doesn't have good crystal generators outside backups. Then
Mhm.
yeah, you kind of like are like, yeah, this is the best I get to generate crystals.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's not really any reason to play it unless you're running like a crystal deck with Warrior of Light for some reason, right? Like he plays Glaciela for free, he plays Lana for free, and he plays these backups for free. So you could potentially take a look at that.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah. That said, I've played against a lot of them in playtesting because a lot of people are trying them out. So I think we'll end up seeing them around, but I personally don't like them.
Yeah. Yep. I would have made all them relevant names. You know, like I said, the ninja, and then the blue one I would have made, I don't know, so the Viking. There you go. That's your Viking.
All right. Anything else before we go on to the last cycle?
Nah, these are nah.
All right. The SOPFFO cards, and so I guess specifically we'll talk about Jack Garland, and then just kind of taking into context all of the other SOPFFO forwards that we were talking about. I can also pull up the Astros, for example. But I just included all the ones that cared about SOPFFO on this slide. So Jack Garland, he's also card name Garland when that matters. 3 Dark 9K, Brave. All right, pretty good. When Jack Garland ETBs, search for a category SOPFFO forward and add it to your hand. Very, very good. The tap abilities, probably going to be flavor text in most games. Choose a dark character, break it. Jack Garland deals you 1 point of damage. But it does kill chaos, which is very funny.
What do you mean?
So yeah, I mean, this card is like, it was the first card, that was revealed. So I feel like people have had a while to kind of sit on this card. So I think it was one of those things where we saw it, and then we kind of had to wait to see what other cards were revealed. And honestly, most of these are pretty good.
Yep.
Again, in the context of the fact that you can search them off of a dark card and they are immediately live because you have a dark SOPFFO forward, is what makes them, I think, relevant. So
absolutely, yep.
The Neon's a 4 CP 8K. If a fire forward or a category SOPFFO forward you control deals damage to a forward, the damage increases by 1K. All right. When Neon enters the field, she's up to 2 forwards. If you control 2 or more category SOPFFO forwards, deal them 7K, which means deal them 8K. 4 CP 8K to 2 forwards on an 8K body is like very solid.
Very much so. Especially if you have something like Jin on board as well to buff it further and make it 9K. Right, it's really good.
Yeah. Is there another SOPFFO forward that there's the Merilith, right?
Merilith, but I'm not too excited about that card.
Yeah. So Sophia SOPFFO, 3 CP. She's a black mage, funnily enough. 7K. When she enters the field, choose a summon in your break zone. If you control 2 or more SOPFFO forwards, add it to your hand. When you cast a summon, you may dull 1 active category SOPFFO forward you control. Dull 1 active, including yourself. When you do so, choose a forward, deal it 5K. So the obvious synergies with Lulu there. I guess I'll just go through all of them before we talk about each one individually. Ash is a 3 CP 7K forward monk, also relevant. The forwards with Brave, other than Ash you control, gain plus 3k. When Ash enters the field, choose a character in your break zone. If you control 2 or more categories, SOPFFO forwards, add it to your hand. Tap, choose a forward, it gains Brave. And then Jed is a 4 CP water forward 8k. Samurai, for some reason, if a water forward or a category SOPFFO forward you control is dealt damage, reduce the damage by 1,000. Winning ETBs, choose a forward opponent controls. If you control 2 or more SOPFFO forwards, put it on top of its owner's deck. All right, that was a bit of a mouthful. So, yeah, honestly, all of these are. I think specifically Neon and Jed are very, very solid.
I think Ash is the significantly best one by like not even close. I think.
Like
Ash.
Specifically in monks or just in general?
No, in general. This is an Earth, so this Jack into Ash means that you pay 1 CP for each forward, right? Because Jack gets you Ash, and then Ash gets you something, and then Ash buffs Jack. So
yeah,
Jack has Brave
12K.
naturally. So you get effectively for 2 CP, you get a 12k Brave and a 7k Brave. That also get something from your, get something from your break zone. That's kind of good. And the fact is, the card that we talked about, Lich, that's the card that makes me excited to play Mono Earth, is also a SOPFFO forward, which means that this Jack Garland can search for Lich in Mono Earth. So currently in Mono Earth, I'm testing, 1 Jack, 1 Ash, 3 Lich, and he's always there on demand. In my opinion, the weakest one is Sophia. I think she has too many restrictions. Jed is actually decent, but the reason is actually not Jed. The reason is because in Vikings, you kind of play Jack Garland because he searches Beacon. And Jed happens to be like another forward that you can play as a one-off to search off Jack, or if you draw him while you have Beacon on board, you also get his effect, because Beacon is category Stranger of Paradise. So you get to tuck something to the deck, and then you kind of like protect Beacon a little bit from damage, right? You make the damage 1,000 less. So those two, the two on the right, are the big winners here. Neon, I'd have to test her, but she reads very well in Mono Fire. If we're not running any light cards or something, putting Jack Garland in there and just playing Neon as just like straight up removal, and also buffing your fire damage, I think that's significantly better than the 2 CP one that we talked about before. It's a bigger body. It kills stuff on it kills 2 things on entry potentially. It's a good card. I'm very happy about this because Jack Garland happens to be one of my in Final Fantasy, period. That's insane. I love him.
Neon also plays well with the Leftia we talked about earlier. Leftia buffs by an additional 2k.
Yeah, so 2 9k things, right?
No, it'd be 11.
Or wait, Leftia is plus 2k.
It would be 10k.
10k, yeah.
10k, yeah.
And 11 with Jin.
Yeah, 10k, 2 10k. So yeah, you're right. She plays very well with her. But I think if we're talking just generically, right? The big winner is Ash. It's Jack into Ash. If I'm playing an Earth deck, I'm always looking at those cards. If I'm not running Chaos Arc or something, I'm probably gonna run Jack into Ash because it's just too much value for very little investment.
Yeah, because I'm also thinking about like cards that, like Gala, for example, Ash is really works pretty well with, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess I didn't read Ash too well. I was like, oh, recursion, but all the other ones say kill stuff, so
yeah, well, recursion and then Lord effect randomly, like it's just gonna catch you by surprise when something swings into you and you think it's an 8k and it's like, no, it's 11.
Yeah. You think is the tap effect?
The tap also grants 3,000.
Yeah,
because it
Exactly.
gives brave. That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, just do it on your Griever and just give him brave, swing for 12, and then discard.
I mean, you would just swing with Ash. Oh, well, I guess Ash is a 7K though. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't give him to himself. I like the design overall of this cycle, in the sense that you play Jack Garland, but you can play like any of the other ones depending on like the deck you're playing. So it's not like you play them all together.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what I really like, because like I don't like cycles where you just like obviously play them together, like Soiree. Like that deck, it's just like, okay, you play them. I think they're clearly meant to be played together. But like this is like, it gives you options, you know. It's, do you want to pair Jack Garland with like a fire deck, wind, earth, water? Like it's really up to you, and they just give us the tools to explore that. And so I really like this kind of design.
Yeah, have we seen a cycle like that before? Or
I guess the Sky Serpents are similar.
Yeah, they don't like work with each other as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said this is just like a tiny little package that you can put in mono decks, right?
And like all these different decks, yeah.
Yeah, you go, well, I'm playing mono fire. This only takes like 2 or 3 slots at most, right? So it's not like I'm investing half of my deck or a significant portion of my deck. Like I said, if you're playing Earth and you were like, I don't have any light cards or dark cards, putting like a Jack Garland and an Ash is just trivial, right?
Yeah. So I'm hoping to see more of this kind of cycle going forward, where they have like one piece that sort of works with different sub pieces that fit easily into like a bunch of different decks.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see that. Also, this is spoilerless, but these cards are all like extremely flavorful. So very, very much so. So play the game. It's good.
I gotta play all the other Final Fantasies first, though. What do you mean?
You don't play Final Fantasy?
You do.
Jeez. Yeah, it's funny that some of the people that I know that are good at this game are just like, oh, I've never played a Final Fantasy. But
yeah, I've played 5 and 1 and 3, and you know.
Also, you just pick the worst ones. Yeah, like
all right, that's some fighting words there.
Let me just pick the bad ones and just play those.
You better not be calling FF5 a bad game. You better not have said that.
Like, imagine thinking Bart's is a good character. No.
All right. Well, that about wraps it up.
That's it.
Yeah, I guess, is there anything else that you just want to chat about? Like, I mean, it's late for all three of us, but I guess any like last pieces about, you know, the set as a whole that excited for, any last thoughts, things you're not excited for maybe?
Yeah, I think the last 2 sets have been absolute bangers. Not only in making potentially very competitive decks viable, but also supporting archetypes that, while they may not be competitive, they can create a very fun deck that you can build around and take your locals and stuff like that. And I think these last 2 sets have hit a home run in that front. This set has incredible cards. I was very excited to talk about these. If this was a bad set, I wouldn't have talked nearly as much as I did
for like 5 hours.
Yeah, but I'm just so excited to talk about it because this is, in my opinion, a very good set. It especially gives mono-color players a lot of rewards. We've been asking for that for so long, and this set just said, "All right, here's all your, here's all your monocolor rewards. All these Stranger of Paradise, the Lich, the Sandy, you just have all of them." And that made a lot of people happy.
Yeah, fully agree. I like that. It just serves to add additional like pieces to existing decks rather than like throwing in like an obviously new deck. Like for example, soirees.
Like soiree,
yeah. So I really like that. Like it just gives you a lot of pieces that fit into different things, and then you can like test them out, try them in different ways. And that's like how I like to build decks, right? Like I try to take a card and then use it in a way you will never think of. So I'm excited for that. I'm not excited about. I just know I'm gonna open the 4CP Warp Monk as my full art. So definitely want more, you know, just like cooler full arts. I mean, they're all pretty cool, but I would just hate to open that or like the Red Mage or something.
What do you mean? The Red Mage is going to be playable?
Hey, well, if you open the Red Mage, I want it.
All right, I'll trade you for it for like your Stola full art or Shadow.
Sure.
Or the Ultimatia.
I think like I said, I started playing in Opus 18. I definitely feel like I'm pretty spoiled because, like, I feel like every single set I've been excited for all the new cards. You know, I don't know. Just Final Fantasy not usually get sets that are this fun because I feel like every set that I've a new set that's come out, I've been really happy with. So, and including this set.
I think it's because when you compare it to other card games.
Oh my god, yeah.
You have a design team that is very much aware of what they're doing. I think in this game, very rarely do I see people saying like, "What were they thinking when they printed this?" Right? Nothing feels like overly broken.
I mean, that's me with Roos, so.
So, but in every set, it's not like, oh, the previous deck that was the most powerful is now more powerful. Most of the time, it's just, oh, another deck that was like almost powerful enough now is like the best one in the game, right? Mm-hmm. So you get a constant refresher, and then, I mean, I'm looking at the 4CP Galef, right?
Yeah.
There's no reason to, when I say there's no reason to print that card, it's like, I didn't even think that that was an archetype that we could move towards, right? Like 2CP backup, 2CP forwards. And then it's like, they print this card as a rare. It's like, here, you know, you can kind of build around this. And you're like, well, I will. Thanks for giving me this, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just one card. And then suddenly you're looking at the entirety of the card pool to see what works with this, right? It's very exciting because you get to revisit old cards often because of these new cards.
Yeah. Like I was mentioning before, you know, I off camera, I like opened. I don't usually open packs that often. I opened like 2 packs, and in I think like 75% of the cards were playable, and it's just like coming from like Magic or even like Pokemon, God forbid, you know, none of the cards you open are playable in that game. It's just like so like it's clear that they like really care about every single card that they play, but like I mean I think it's a little different for this game, especially because standard is like or I guess the Eternal format is the supported format, I guess, as opposed to like Magic, they design for draft, right, and standard, and like that's basically it, right? I mean, generally, you know, Pokemon, they just, I don't even know what they design for with some of those cards.
For kids.
True. So, yeah, this game's sick. I don't know, any I guess anything else to mention before we close it off?
Nope. This looks like a very fun draft set. Very fun. So give it a shot. I think this is a very well balanced set.
All right. Well, if you made it this far, God bless. 'Cause we've been chatting for a long time. It is 1:30 in the morning for the 3 of us. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Super excited for this set. So, yeah, have a good one.